Rhona Lloyd in the corner.
Rhona Lloyd, Newcastle, Rhona Lloyd!
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Rugby Connection presents The Final Whistle. This week's guest, one of the fastest rising stars in women's rugby, face of Scottish women's rugby, and most recently a Barbarian, Rhona Lloyd. Rhona, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are we getting on?
All good here. Thank you for the introduction and for having me on the show. Off the back of a busy couple of weeks with Scotland and the Barbarians, so it's cool to have the opportunity to chat about it with you.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a busy few weeks for you, definitely, especially with the Scotland women, like you mentioned, and then Barbarians. Just how were those experiences?
Good. Like, incredible experience with Scotland. We were out in Italy in September for World Cup qualifiers. The Euros, we were the fourth ranked team going in, and we finished second, which means like our World Cup journey continues, which is kind of like the focus of the squad right now. It's something that we've all been, I guess, well, for me, probably when I played in the last qualifiers when we didn't qualify 5 years ago, it's kind of been the dream since then. So it's really cool to have that's going so positively. And then the Barbarians was just like absolutely wild. It was like probably one of the coolest weeks of my life, really. To get to play in front of Twickenham, world record breaking crowd there, world record breaking audience on the TV, was something that it was a huge honour to be part of and to kind of represent Scotland in that squad. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I watched the game and it was quite a good try that you scored yourself. So just showing off from like just under the halfway line, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah, it was kind of one where just the space opened up and arguably probably could have passed it. I think if I hadn't scored it, I think I would have been in a bit of trouble. But you can play with a bit more freedom in the Barbarians and the environment there. So it was really special.
Is there any special experience away from the Barbarians game that was very special to you?
I guess the qualifiers that we had in September, that was huge. We've still got a wee bit to go on that World Cup journey, but it's we got that win over Ireland, and I think it was like the 82nd minute, and that was that was incredible. Kind of other memorable matches would be, well, first cap, because that's I guess everyone says that, but I actually don't really remember that much of it. It was one that went by in a flash. Getting to play at the Dam Health Stadium for the first time last month for Japan, that was awesome. The environment and the crowd was incredible. I'm excited to get back there for sure. I'm pretty fortunate that I've had a lot of opportunities to play internationally, and collected a lot of memories from that. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I was looking at your international record. You've got 32 caps currently, and you scored 15 tries in those caps. That's unreal. Actually, I posted a video of your try for Barbarians, and someone in the comments compared you to Tommy Seymour. So there you go.
Oh well, yeah, he's a Scottish rugby legend, so that's a very kind comparison. But yeah, it's been a funny one with that. Like within my first, probably 15 caps, I might have scored one try in that time. The team's it's changed so much. Like the way that we play has changed so much, and now as a winger, you get a lot more hands on ball, and you get a lot more opportunity to attack, and that's down to, I guess, the development that we've seen in the team over the past 5 years. And now, like, I have to work harder than ever to get a game for Scotland now, which it's really cool. Like, it's a good reflection of where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, with the World Cup qualifiers, I mean, the three of us were watching. Sean's a bit spiteful about it because Sean's Irish, but you move on. We all laughed about it. Bloody good games, if I'm honest with you, and not being biased at all, but Helen Nelson's cross kick to you was just a work of art. It was just magic. I didn't expect it, and I think that's what made it better, because nobody expected it to happen.
Yeah, me and Nelly are like she's my best friend, and I think we really connect on the pitch that way. I said I've scored 15 tries for Scotland. I probably owe about 14 of them to Nelly. She's brilliant, and she's so good. Like her rugby head, she's so good at seeing the space in behind, reading those defences, and setting up opportunities like that for other players in the team. So yes, it's always a pleasure to play alongside Nelly.
Good. What actually got you into rugby to begin with, Rhona?
I was in school, kind of just did a bunch of sport. My dad was always rugby obsessed, so I guess that kind of got me into it. Like went to the Edinburgh matches and stuff when I was younger. But it was when I was maybe 13, 14 at Tynecastle High School. We had like a rugby taster session. It was Sarah Quick, who's plays for Scotland. Well, did play for Scotland Women. She's retired now internationally. Who, excuse me, told me to like I did the taster session at school. She told me to come along to Murrayfield Wanderers, and it was about 5 years later that I got my first cap, and that was alongside Sarah. So that was that. Yeah, that was a really rewarding experience actually. And yeah, the rugby for me when I started, like the first couple of years, it was like I did rugby on a Wednesday, I did basketball on a Monday, I did hockey on a Tuesday. Like it didn't, I didn't really foresee where it was going to go, and it was once I got involved in Scotland under 20s really that I thought I could take this further. And yeah, now I'm in a situation where like I'm playing professionally in France. It's kind of crazy how it's all happened and how quickly the league is becoming more and more professional. Or sorry, women's rugby rather is becoming more and more professional. So it's been really awesome to be part of that journey, and I'm excited to see in 10 years' time when I definitely won't be playing internationally anymore. We'll see what I'm doing club wise, but I think the progress is just huge. It's just like it's women's rugby sevens, the fastest growing sport in the world, and I think it's really evident being part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I noticed that you got your GB7 hoodie on. So what was your sevens experience like compared to your 15s?
Yeah, like sevens, I'd say is kind of more my game than 15s a lot of the time. 15s is or sevens comes more naturally to me probably is how to say it. Like I like the ball in space and you get more of that. But actually with that, I kind of have really been loving 15s recently, which is cool because I think before it was like I'd always be waiting for the summer sevens to come around, but yeah, don't feel like that anymore, which is really nice. And yeah, like the Scotland sevens team, we've got a really special thing going on, like where we have a really good culture there, and it's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to play with them. And over the summer, we were lucky enough to, well, I'm saying lucky enough, we worked bloody hard and we qualified for the Commonwealth Games, which was incredible. It'll be Scotland women's first Commonwealth Games, and although Birmingham is not a home crowd, it's close enough that hopefully we can get 500 miles on and our families can get down, because that's really going to be special. And I know that the 15s girls will be behind us with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are trying to get tickets for that ourselves because it's rugby at sevens. It's another target time for us, but fingers crossed. It's just hard to get tickets now. It's not letting any of us get them for some reason. I don't know if they're sold out, but who knows? Might have to try and pull some strings. How are you finding life in Bordeaux now that you've moved across?
Yeah, it's been cool. It was, I think, towards the end of my season at Loughborough last year that I was there for 3 years doing a master's, and that came to an end, and kind of thought, like, had this feeling that I wanted to do something new, and spoke to other clubs in England, and I feel really loyal to Loughborough. Like I still feel like that, and it almost didn't feel right to go somewhere else there. So it was what opportunities are outside England, and know that the France League is very strong from the players that play here and the players that I know that have played here before. And after speaking to a bunch of clubs here, that kind of decided on Bordeaux. And yeah, I think it's probably been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. Like it's been so refreshing being over here, playing with new players. The style of rugby is hugely different to the UK in a way that really challenges me and which really excites me. And learning a new language has been that's been an awesome experience. Like it's something that I definitely think almost everybody should have to go through when you show up in a new country and you don't know anybody and you can't speak the language, because you find out a lot more about yourself. And yeah, it has been cool. The city's stunning, the team's great, the girls are lovely. We're top of the table at the moment, which is a nice place to be in. And yeah, just like feel I came here to improve, and I definitely feel really challenged in the rugby sense, which is cool.
Good. Can you speak any French then?
Yeah, getting there, like when the first week I was here, I would have to answer no to that question, whereas now I'd probably say a little. So hopefully by the end of the season I can confidently say that I can. I'm doing quite well one-on-one, but it's pretty challenging in groups, and still pretty challenging on the pitch. Like I'm somebody that talks a lot, and when you're doing that in another language, it's not without its complications. But yeah, the girls have been great. They've been so patient with me, and there's a couple Canadians on this team, French Canadians, but their English is pretty good. So when we've needed to, they've been able to step in and help me out as well.
Oh, that's good. I was just going to ask, how does that transpire to on field, just in case, because obviously the language barrier would be difficult if you're on. Sorry, that's my little one. If you could hear him.
Oh yeah, no worries at all.
He's just being nosy because I'm up the stairs. So, yeah. So, have you found it difficult to like make calls or that on the pitch, or have you been able to adapt quite quickly?
It's one in a game I've found it's okay. It's been training. There's been some training sessions that I've found really frustrating, and it's not because of anybody else. It's because I can't communicate what I want, or like I'm running a line and I can't talk to the players around me really. But it's one that actually in a game it's come a lot more easier, because I guess you just play heads up rugby and you play what's on. But it's training where you're experimenting a bit more and you want to do it right. But no, it's been like it's kind of been one, like there's definitely been days that with the language barrier here it's been hard, and I've thought that, but I didn't come here for it to be easy, and that's something that I've definitely had to remind myself. And it's cool now, like especially the last, probably like quite recently, like last couple of weeks here, I've really felt like I've got my own friend group here, and I can talk a lot more than I could at the start, which is cool, like kind of building those connections with people off the pitch, which I think always is reflected on the pitch.
Yeah, 100% agree, and it is nice to see you've like adapted so quick, and it's not stressful in a way, because you do hear that players move country and move to new teams, and it's very hard to like mesh in and adapt and everything like that. So it's good to see that you're not one of them. What is the biggest difference between like playing in France compared to playing in Scotland, apart from the level of rugby?
Yeah, the Scottish League's harder for me to comment on, because I haven't played in that league in probably like 7 years now. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to compare that. But the English League, the style of rugby is hugely different. Like there's a lot less structure here. I find the kicking game to be a lot more sporadic. They hit hard here. They hit hard in England, but the content of training is very different here. I'll do a lot of contact, which like physicality is something that I've wanted to work on, so that's been really cool. And yeah, I'd say it's just a lot. The matches I find are a lot more predictable, and it's a lot more off the cuff. It's a lot more play what you see. There's a lot less calling things in advance, which kind of means everybody has to be a ball player. Like in England, definitely, like I was a winger and I kind of had a job there to finish opportunities that the team created, whereas here I found that like all the wingers can kick, all the wingers can pass. I think in that sense, the players are more well-rounded, which is it's been challenging. Like I've definitely felt out the depth of that, but it's been a really cool challenge.
Good. We've got a question from Sean. What's the funniest rugby story that you're allowed to share? Because obviously there's a lot that not many can get public.
Yeah, everything that's coming to mind, I'd be in a lot of trouble if I shared on a podcast. In terms of on pitch stories, we had a game at Loughborough, so that's one thing that's happened here is that like with the language barrier, I've said to the girls here, nobody could understand a word I was saying when I played in Loughborough, so I'm used to having that. But there was a game in Loughborough that I was calling things on the wing, and it was like twice that what I'd said people hadn't picked up with my accent. So like I'd called a move, people had ran what they thought I'd said, and then when we'd come together to speak about it, it was, oh, I thought Rhona said this, and I thought Rhona said this. So that was in the warm-up before a game. Then during the game, like happened again, and the girls were like, oh, like, do you think you could take your gum shield out before you call? This was like mid-match, and I was like, no, basically, I would not be taking my gum shield out to call things on the pitch. So in terms of language barriers, I think I was pretty well prepared from that experience.
I think that's just a Scottish thing. I've had that even when we first met Sean and Simeon. They didn't understand me, and I'm like, don't think I'm speaking that gibberish, but I think it's just a thing across Scotland. To be honest, not many understand us.
Scots abroad.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Have you got any? This is another one from Sean. Is there any advice for young girls that you would give coming through rugby or just starting rugby?
Yeah, I think I think for young girls and actually for young boys, I think you should expose yourself to a lot of sport early and figure out what you love. And definitely I did a bit of athletics and did a bit of basketball and stuff, and I can totally see how those things have helped me in my rugby experience. So I guess my advice for young girls would always be not to specialize too early, but also with that to develop all your skills as a rugby player. So when I look back when I was young, I played in the wing and I would get the ball out wide, and I never passed or never kicked or never did anything else apart from run. And those have been skills that I've had to pick up later. So yeah, I guess to make sure that if you're a youngster and you're choosing to play rugby, that you're developing all of your skills and you're working on everything. And just with that, especially for the girls, with women's rugby at the moment, there's huge opportunities. Like, it's a sport where there's massive pathways, and in rugby, pathways that are easy to and in Scotland, pathways that are easy to get onto, and you can follow through and get to the top. So yeah, it's kind of shaped. Playing rugby has completely shaped who I am, and has shaped the direction I've gone in my life. And like, I've been to South Africa, Hong Kong, Russia. I'm living in France. Like, they're all things that I think if you told me I would do when I first did that taster session at 13, I wouldn't have believed it. So I think everybody should give it a go.
Yeah, that's fair. Just because you've rattled off some of the countries you've been to, what's your favourite venue that you've played in?
Playing at Hong Kong in the stadium there was incredible. Like, city centre was in front of 35,000 people. It was, that was an incredible experience. Unfortunately, with women's rugby, where like crowds and stuff are still going, and actually the opportunity to play in front of people like that is rare. So it's always, it's kind of always a privilege when you do get the opportunity. We had a good time after Hong Kong, after the rugby as well. So it was a memorable trip from that point of view. And then South Africa, not that the stadium there was particularly memorable, but we had like shirt presentation on the sunset. Some of the parents were over. Like, that was pretty emotional. It was definitely a moment of like, whoa, like this is a pretty cool life that we're living.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, especially with the nice South African sunset. That'd be very nice. It's another one from Sean. What is your toughest opponent and your favourite opponent to play against? Could be for club or country, or both, just to be more fun.
Toughest opponent, in terms of teams, like I would say Wales. Like, we always have Scotland have, like, just last couple of games with them, it's been a really good matchup. It's always a really physical game, like always one that you feel the next day. And it's always a close battle, and I think it's one that we really rise to the occasion for, and all the girls get up to, and we really enjoy. And Wales they've got a lot of strong wingers, so there's always good head-to-heads in the wide channel. And I love playing against Wales, and my dad's Welsh, so that although I've grown up in Scotland and I very much feel Scottish, it's a cool one for the family, Scotland Wales. And then favourite opponent to play against, like kind of Wales for the same reason. Like, I like getting up for the big matches. Club-wise over here, that's something that's been really cool, is like not knowing your opposition as much. Like, I kind of know what teams are strong, but don't know as well the players in the team. So that's something that's been really refreshing, actually. I'm trying to think of like a kind of club favourite opponent. I was tempted to say Saracens there, but I've not been lucky enough to play in a game where we've beaten them, so that doesn't make it a favourite. But that's another one that's always a tough challenge. Yeah,
that's fair. I was going to say they could always be you could slide them over across the toughest opponent as need be.
Yeah, potentially.
Just a little fun one, because like you mentioned, like you played with great players. If you could pick, we'll say 3, just to be really tough with it. You could pick 3 from the Scotland camp to sign to Bordeaux with you. Who would it be and why? You can't take all the girls, though, sadly. You're only allowed three.
If I had to pick my three favourites.
Three favourites, yeah.
So without a doubt, Sarah Bonner. She's one of my best friends. Like, I have a podcast with her. Bonner's somebody that is absolutely great for team culture, and I think every team needs somebody like her. And she plays second row, and one of the second rows here is Madison Fall, who's incredible, like one of the best players in the world right now. So the thought of those two in the second row together would be pretty lethal on the pitch. And I know that I would have a lot of fun with Bonner here off the pitch. Helen Nelson, without a doubt, as I said, it's always a pleasure to play with Nelly and get opportunities to do that. And then what have I done? I've gone back, forward. Sarah Law's rugby brain is one that I don't think you find in many people. I think it's pretty rare the way that she reads the game, and she's somebody that's so good to train with. Like, her work ethic's really inspiring. Analysis wise, she's incredible. So I'd say Sarah Law for what she brings in her rugby mind. That's
fair, and you've backed it all for different reasons. One for more of a social aspect, one for like in-game play, and then one for game management. So there you go, you've ticked all the boxes with the three choices. So I like that. Sticking with dream choices, you could do it for 7. I think you 2 out of the 3 that we pitched play 15s and 7s. But if you could have a dream back 3 combo, including yourself, so like Rhona Lloyd on one wing, who would be your fullback and who would be your opposite wing, and then we'll tell you the one we pitched that would be absolutely deadly on any team.
My other wing would be Jazz Joyce, who plays for Wales. She's got to play with her over the summer in 7s, and she's an incredible player, but she's also a absolutely 10 out of 10 person and a really good friend now, actually, which is really cool. So yeah, she would, without a doubt, no hesitation on that one. She would be on the other wing, and it'd be very cool to play 15s with her. Actually, I've not had that opportunity. And in terms of fullback, actually, playing with the Barbarians, our fullback was Bilal from the USA Eagles, and she's just extremely cool girl, extremely cool attitude, like the most horizontal person I've ever met in terms of how laid back she is, and that was really refreshing, and it was really cool to play with her. Like, she's great girl on the pitch, great player, loves defence, which I don't think you meet many fullbacks that would tell you that. So yeah, they'd be the 2 people that I'd have in the back 3 with me.
Okay, that's a good one. We did agree on Jazz Joyce, but we had Jazz at fullback for this one. We have Michaela Boyd from the Blackford Sevens,
fair,
Olympic gold medalist, and we've had her on the show, so it's kind of hard to ignore. So I think when we were discussing it, because Simeon is obviously Welsh, so he's a big Jazz Joyce fan as well, and he's seen you at the Japan game at the Damhill Stadium. I was like, think of Rhona Lloyd, Michaela Boyd on the wings with Jazz Joyce at fullback. He's like, no one's stopping that. Like, good luck to anyone trying to stop that, because you're just going to step them or kick and chase, and you've all got wheels on you. I wouldn't want to go against that. Frighten me anyway.
That'd be a fun combo for sure.
I'll just get stepped and I'll just, cool, that happened, and I'll just stand there. We've got a few fan questions for you as well, Rhona. Dave, the rugby coach, asked, how did you feel when you got the call to represent Scotland?
The first experience I had representing Scotland actually was from an email, and it was I'd been involved in a couple camps, and I knew that the selection email was coming, and that when you're kind of scrolling through an email to see if your name's on a list or not is always your heart's going, and I was really emotional actually. It wasn't expected. Like, my first shirt I was starting at 11, which definitely wasn't expected. Kind of based on how it had all been going at camp, and you do estimate like where you're at. I was hoping to be in the 23, so actually to have a starting shirt was incredible. My first cap was against England. It was at home. My parents were there. It was extremely proud day for the family, and they were the first people that I called, and a lot of tears, and they had a lot of tears, and we've not looked back really. So it was incredible.
Good. I'm going to kind of follow up on Dave's question. How do you find out about getting represented for the Barbarians? Is that an email or is that a phone call or even a letter through the door? How's that work?
Yeah, that's an email, one that my dad actually, well, it's an email with a letter attachment saying, you know, you're invited to play for the Barbarians Football Club. And it really, from that moment, it feels like, I mean, I know how special it is anyway, but that was really, yeah, it's kind of that's a wow moment. And it was, yeah, my birthday this year. Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. That was another one. The first thing I did was call my parents. I think with any life event or any minor crisis, that's my go-to. And yeah, it was so cool. It's kind of been a dream of mine, and for it to come around at 25 was awesome. It was like definitely been a bit of a hard year with the Olympics was something that I was aiming for, and we didn't get that one. So actually to have this come around was really cool.
That's good, and it's good that you didn't dwell on the Olympics too long, because then you got the Barbarians, and personally I think the Barbarians is better. I know the Olympics is like once in a lifetime or like once every 4 years, but Barbarians is a very special select process as well. So I don't know, just my opinion. TP Burner has asked your favourite rugby TikTok account and why. Because I know you dabble on the TikTok, that's where we all started as well, is through TikTok, so it's kind of a fitting question.
Favorite rugby TikTok account? So I can't remember the handle. It's Sam Love Rugby on Instagram. I don't know if she's Sam Loves Rugby on TikTok, but it's a Scottish girl actually who's living in America who makes this. Yeah, she's does a lot of funny. Yeah, does a lot of funny TikToks, a lot of funny videos on Instagram, and yeah, she's doing cool things for the game. So I'm gonna go for Sam Loves Rugby. Although I might have made up that TikTok handle, it might be something different.
I think it's right. I don't think you're far off. I know exactly what you're on about though.
Yeah, I'm along those lines.
Any others just to throw out there? Any other rugby TikTokers that you like? Maybe the TikTok ref or Blissful Rugby HQ. That's us. That's all us.
I think everybody knows Alona Maher in the rugby community. She's doing absolutely incredible things for the game, and it's really cool how she's led the way. Like there's a lot of girls in the world playing rugby because of her, and that's something that's pretty cool to say. Yeah, it's cool actually. There's like a couple people that have really built platforms for themselves, and that's it. Yeah, it's really cool that it's going that way with women's sport, because I think we want to change perception of rugby and we want to inspire young girls to play, and actually a lot of the young girls are on TikTok. That's where the audience is now.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean personally, I just done it purely out of boredom because of COVID, and I annoy my family talking about rugby, so like, go and take it somewhere else. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just ramble on in front of my phone and post it and see who actually cares. And here we are with the podcast interviewing professional players and all that stuff. So it is really weird. I don't think it ever sinks in, but grateful for every opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
One more fan question. It's more of a friend of the show. It's Carwin from Uneducated Rugby. He's asked, do you think women's rugby records should be more accessible? So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. So Carwin loves his like facts and stats and see how many people or how close people are to like breaking like try records and everything like that. And he asked me if I knew how close you were to being the most top try scorer for Scotland. I was like, I haven't a clue. I will try and find out. You can't. You know how like Stuart Hogg is right there. You look up and it's there, and it's easy to find out. Very difficult to find. Like we found your actual record, but compared to the record, you can't see it, and it's a bit of a problem.
Well, yeah, like I think the answer is definitely, and that's one that actually came up recently, like when Stuart Hogg became the most the male player with the highest number of tries. That question came up about who would it be female wise, and I've scored the most tries in the squad at the moment, but yeah, we don't have those records. So it is, yeah, it's a funny one, and it's something that hopefully they change and that it happens soon. Like as the game's been becoming more professional, which it is very quickly, I think things like that will come up more and more. But yeah, like we wanna raise the profile of women's players. We want to celebrate success, and yeah, you need records like that to be able to do it. So yeah, I think the answer is definitely yes.
I just don't understand why they're not there. I don't know why. It just feels like something that somebody should have written it down. Maybe like somebody should have kept a tally. But you were saying that you were saying you're the top try scorer in the current squad, are you?
In the current squad, yeah.
There you go. So there's a record. We'll count you. Why not?
There's quite a few of us that are on. Like there's very, very similar. There's not much in it at all. But yeah, hopefully in the future records like that will be more accessible.
Fingers crossed. Is there any aims for you personally for this upcoming season, or just in your career in general?
Yeah, I think Scotland going to the World Cup is kind of number one priority of the whole squad, and we're very close to that. And I hope that by the end of this season we can see that we've done that. I think that's something that will really shape the future of Scottish women's rugby, and actually will be the end of what has been like an incredible journey, but an incredibly hard journey since like Scotland's last World Cup was 2010, and we want to rewrite that history. And yeah, we're so close now. There's a lot of work to do, but I guess that's at the forefront of all our minds right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're definitely backing you here anyway, because like we said, we've seen you perform so well in September for the qualifiers, and to keep that story going, kind of just want it to happen. It just feels like too good not to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So World Cup, Scotland, let's go for it. I'll leave you on this one. British and Irish Lioness, yes or no?
Yeah, hopefully in my playing career there's a British and Irish Lions squad for the women, and that there's opportunities there. And yeah, like obviously that's not a dream right now because there's not a women's team, and if there was to, that would be something that it would be an honour to be part of.
There's a committee now for the discussion of it, so never say never.
Fingers crossed. No, absolutely.
Who knows? Could be in the next one for 2025. I think the next one is. So there you go.
Yes, we shall see.
We shall see. Good. If they're listening, just get it done. Rhona Lloyd says so. So there you go. But that is everything we've got. Thank you so much for this. It's been a long time, but it was definitely worth the wait. And great chat. Good luck to you in Bordeaux. Hopefully see you running about in a Scotland jersey in the Six Nations, and just have a great season, and more importantly, have a great Christmas as well. Thank you so much.
No, thanks so much for having me on. And yeah, all the best with what's coming next for the podcast.
Thank you. Fingers crossed. Hope you are welcome back anytime as well. So hopefully we could have another discussion down the line with, who knows, British and Irish Lion, Rhona Lloyd.
Yeah, who knows?
Exactly. This has been Rugby Connection presents The Final Whistle with Rhona Lloyd, and we will see you next time.